Okay, so this next one is all about. I'm going to write it down so you understand what I'm talking about. This thing is all about international trade. So I'm just going to trade. So if you're a company that used to only supply to UK people, what are the good things and bad things about trying to start selling things abroad? So let's go for the beginning bit. Now, if you want, try and think about things before you actually look at these good and bad. So think what potentially could be good or bad about trying to start selling things abroad. Right, let's go for the first good thing. Now, the thing is, if you're selling abroad, you're obviously going to be bigger. So if you're bigger, what are you going to get to benefit from? We know what we're going to say here. You can say economies of scale. Now, remember, even if you've done economies of scale as a previous question, you still have to define it and you still have to give a couple of examples. A second one, customers get more choice. So if there's more trade going on, between different countries, then customers are absolutely delighted because that means they get more choice. Like back in the day, if you're in Russia, you got very little choice in cars, but now you've got much more. Right, finally, a really good thing for the company is they got a bigger market to sell to. For example, Take That, they've only done so well in the UK. Like, as much as I love Take That, they haven't actually done that well because they're selling loads in the UK, but they haven't really sold in America. But the difference is, if we think about put a little bit of thing for it, think about One Direction, right? Now, I don't think their music is that good. Yeah, I honestly, normally I like rubbish music. I don't think they're that good. But One Direction, because they sold in America and they've gone abroad, they've been able to make much more money. But there are some downsides of all this international trade. The first downside is the environment. So all this trade that's happening between countries, that's actually been really bad for the environment as different things are getting shipped across or I don't know what you'd call it, planed across. What would you say instead of planed across? Oh, flown across. Anyway. Next bit. Right, the problem for companies is if there's loads of international trade, there's going to be lots more competition. So that means it's much harder to sell your product at a high price. And finally, product might not be as popular abroad. So you might have a product that's just absolutely fantastic in your home place, but then when you go abroad, it doesn't really work. And I've got a couple of examples now. So here are those examples. For example, you might have a brand name like Bath, which I find hilarious, been a bit of a loser. Bath, or P-Cola, or Fart. All of these things are brand names that work just fine in your own country. And when you try and sell them abroad, they don't work. Right, this picture here is trying to say that different countries have got different tastes. I just think I know this is a stupid example, like in certain countries people eat this, but I think a better example is just things like, when you go to America, they all eat Hershey's. I think Hershey's is disgusting. Like, we like Cadbury's. And it's, Cadbury's could go to America and people just don't like the taste of it. And finally, Mr. Robinson has been wanting one of these cars for a long time. They're called a Hummer, and they don't make them in the UK anymore. And the reason is, one, they're absolutely enormous. They're too big for our roads. And secondly, I've heard they do 4 miles per gallon. 4. Whereas normally a car would probably do 50 miles per gallon. This one does 4. So the difference is in America they don't have to pay much for petrol, but where we are we have to pay a fortune. So there's a reason why certain companies they might do just fine at home, but then they don't work abroad.